So a lot of you might have known about this situation already, but in my opinion, Bisgrove's a marketing fucking genius. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why, along with a wee preview for Thursday night's game against Sparta Prague. So a few weeks ago now, you may have seen the news that K-pop band Stacey went to Texas and come up with the idea that they were going to wear Texas Rangers kits to do the gig in Texas. However, once this gig started, a lot of fans over in Texas were very, very confused because Stacey ended up taking the stage in not Texas Rangers jerseys, but Glasgow Rangers jerseys. And obviously, as all us fans had a wee fly chuckle at the situation and kind of, wafted it away, Bisgrove, being Bisgrove, was sitting in his office thinking to himself, I want a fucking piece of this pie. And the next thing you know, out came the news that Stacey was coming to Edmondson House to do a fan meet-up with the fans in Scotland. Now, if you told me that collab or that visit was going to be a thing, or if you were to ask me to make a list of potential collabs or meet-ups in the premises of Ibrox, Stacey, let's be honest, wouldn't even have fucking made the list. Don't know if it's Stacey or Stacey, I've not got a fucking clue. Now, if you're sitting here wondering, why would that even come across his mind? Why would that be a collab or a fan meet that he'd want to happen at Ibrox? Well, let me tell you, K-pop has no doubt a massive, massive cult-like following, and there's times where the K-pop fans, whatever their band does, they tend to follow as well. So publicity, check. But not only that, my main theory, as with every other time some, small, minor or major event happens at Rangers, there's one common company that starts to fire on all cylinders: Castor. And I can personally guarantee you, as we speak, Bisgrove will be sitting in his office right now on the phone to Castor, frantically trying to figure out how he can take that year of Rangers strips, slice the sleeves off them, and try to punt them to us mugs, who will no doubt then lap it up and try and fire it to their missus for Christmas, who will no doubt take the heads off of every single one of us. Cheers, James. Now, enough about that, on to more important matters. We've got a massive game on Thursday. Now, obviously, the 0-0 game away was still a bit of a snooze fest. We still kind of seen that transition period throughout the game where Clement was coming in the door and things just, you could tell things were changing, but still they weren't just clicking. And obviously the previous two massive results, the 5-0 drubbing of Dundee and the 3-1 semi-final win against Hearts, who Kieran gave a match reaction to, so you should definitely jump onto the channel and give that a watch. Before this game, it's kind of left fans thinking, are we finally getting a tune out of these players? Has Clement actually come in and answered the questions we've been asking throughout the start of the season and after Beale left? And for here, I'd like to divert your attention to an interview that was made by John Lundstrom, where John described Clement as a breath of fresh air. He said the mood around the place is completely changed for the better. And let's be honest, I know a lot of players have went out and been forced in the media to support managers. They had it with Beale, Gio, Gerrard. Every manager for every single club is forced to go out in the media and praise their manager. It's just the way things are. But the one thing that I noticed that I was quite pleased at was the fact that Clement, during this interview, managed to get John Lundstrom to actually crack a smile. Which, let's be honest, that in itself is good enough for me. But what made this interview so important was the fact that it almost kind of replicated what we'd seen on the park. We've seen the energy and intensity lift on the pitch. The players looked much fitter, they looked much sharper, and these were all things that Clement was talking about in these earlier interviews. Again, I've said it in a previous video, we're starting to see, as opposed to Beale anyway, we're starting to see someone, run his mouth and actually see results throughout the squad in every single match. Bit by bit, but we're getting there. Now, it might not seem like a big deal, he's only just in the door, he's had very few games, but as I said, when Beale left, the biggest task he had was to try and pull together the squad that he's got left, Beale's squad, and try and carry us over to Christmas. And if you're going off evidence of it so far, I think he's doing that pretty well, having helped the team to score 11 goals in 4 previous games, but only conceding once. Now, obviously, to me, the team selection, the injury list is still quite lengthy. The team kind of picks itself, but one position that I'm really interested to see who starts in is that left back position. Obviously, all fans for a long period have been screaming for Yilmaz to get a run of games, obviously because there's still a bit of bad blood between, you know, the fans and Borna Barisic for his previous performances and those mentality issues that the fans seem to think that he has. But obviously, one of our biggest games under the Clement era was that semi-final against Hearts, and instead of trusting Yilmaz with that left-back position, he decided to go with Barisic, which was very interesting considering it goes against what the fans thought was going to happen from the start of this era. Now obviously Yilmaz has been here for a decent amount of time now. He's never been fully able to get a run of games in the team, and that's what a number of managers now have looked at Yilmaz and trusted Barisic over him in those big games. Now I'm not going to say anything negative about Yilmaz, I just merely ask the question, is there something the fans aren't seeing that managers are seeing? Hence why the trust lies with Borna Barisic. Now obviously another player I'd like to mention as well was a goal scorer at the weekend, Scott Wright, who in my opinion, if he wants to continue his career at Rangers and justify the fact that we didn't punt him off to Turkey, then he's going to look at getting this goal under the new manager and think to himself, right, this is the time to wipe the slate clean and show all the fans what I can do and show the fans that I'm a mainstay in this team. So if he does get picked on Thursday, he's going to be one of the top couple of players that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. The Sparta Prague are no easy team to play with, and regardless of the fact that they've lost their captain and key player to injury, this is still no doubt going to be a really, really tough game. Our advantage is always the same advantage when we're at home, and that's the crowd. And what I want you to do is look towards this game and give me a score prediction, what you think the game's going to end up, and I also want you to give me a goal scorer, anytime goal scorer, doesn't need to be first or last, multiple goal scorers, whatever you want. Tell me who you think's going to score and what the score's going to be. Now obviously no fan really wants to get carried away, but I can't help but a really good result against Sparta Prague on Thursday is going to start the hype train for Philippe Clement. At the end of the day, the Rangers crowd are that simple. If you're winning, you're worshipped. If you start losing, you're demonised, and that'll be the end of it. But with what he's said in interviews and what we see in the pitch so far, I can't help but think to myself, finally, we've got a proper manager at the club. Not a project manager, no young man with fresh ideas and new ways of thinking, just an experienced, organised, no bullshit manager. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. We're almost at that 1,000 subscriber mark, and for those of you who have already subscribed, we cannot thank you enough. We never thought we'd be able to get to this mark at this period, only after a couple of months of starting the channel, so your support's been absolutely outstanding. Also, the link's in the description for the BlueSea YouTube channel memberships. Obviously it's $3.99, we don't expect anyone to actually buy it, but if you do, then it allows us to invest a wee bit more in the channel in order to bring the best quality content to you. So remember, the link to that's down in the description next to all our socials. It'd be great to see you over there as well, and we'll see you next time.